Hello everyone, welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisition. So, it's been a very, very long time since I last did a story mission, and I think that by this point I am more than qualified for the next story mission because I've done pretty much all the exploration I can at this point. For that, and also I'm also going to hold off finishing Cullen's personal quest for the moment, because that's been a long time coming and I want it to have the weight that it deserves. So yeah. Time to head to the Ole Palace thingy. That is available now, but I don't want to do it yet because right. Well, Wicked Eyes, Wicked Hearts. Recommended levels 12 to 15. Is level 20. Whoops. An assassin is stalking the Empress. Celine's death would plunge Orlais into chaos, leaving an easy target for Corypheus. At the Winter Palace of Halam-Sharal, Celine is holding peace talks with her rebellious cousin, Grand Duke Gaspard, under the guise of a grand ball. Every noble in the Empire will attend, making it the perfect place and time for Corypheus' assassin to strike. We can arrange an invitation to attend, to keep him from destroying Orlais, if we hurry. Fun fact, in the French version of Origins, Orlais is actually pronounced Orlais, with like a funny, like a 2 dots on the I. Just thought that was interesting.
We have to reach the Empress before Corypheus. The only question is, how?
We know how. I have our way in. The real question is, where is our enemy hiding? At the urging of Grand Duchess Florian, the Empress is holding a ball. Absolutely everyone will be there. During the festivities, Celine will be meeting for peace talks with usurper Duke Gaspard and Ambassador Briala.
The assassin must be hiding within one of these factions.
What do we know about Duke Gaspard?
The man who would have been Emperor. He's Celine's cousin, and was first in line to inherit the throne when Emperor Florian died. Celine outmaneuvered him. She won over the Council of Heralds, who hold authority over title disputes. She became Empress, and he a general in the Imperial Army. He's well loved by the troops. He's also a Chevalier. Most of their number sided with him when he turned on the Empress.
Aren't the Chevaliers part of the army? Why would they follow the Duke?
Most Chevaliers are sworn to serve the crown, but that does not give them faith in the person wearing it. The Empress has tried to improve relations with Ferelden and Navarra. The Chevaliers see her as anti-military. They believe Gaspard could lead the Empire back to the glory of Draken's expansion years.
Who is this Ambassador Briala?
An ambassador in name only. She has organized the elves of Halam-Sharal into an underground army. The Empress invited her to the peace talks in a bid to gain the elves' alliance in the war. That would be scandal enough, without the rumor that Briala is a jilted lover of Celine's. A personal grudge and a network of saboteurs at her command. Promising lead.
Wait, the elven leader is a jilted lover of the Empress.
It's not widely known. Just a rumor whispered among the palace servants a few years ago. If it's true and were to get out, the Empress and an elf. The scandal could destroy Celine's court. Even if a lie, Briala could use it to blackmail the Empress. She has some connection to the throne.
Tell me everything we know about the Empress.
Empress Celine is a renowned diplomat and reformer. She works tirelessly to secure peace for the Empire. Unfortunately, many Orlesians view peace as complacency. She has yet to name an heir, leaving the future of the Empire in doubt if anything happens to her. Especially when the next in line is her cousin Gaspard, who's made few friends on the Council of Heralds.
Celine is surrounded at all times by countless guards, courtiers, servants, and vassals. What better place for an assassin to hide than the Empress's own household?
How can Gaspard still be next in line while he wages war against his Empress?
The title Grand Duke indicates that he was a prince before the Empress took the throne.
Do we need to go to the peace talks? The Empress must have personal guards. We could just warn her she's in danger.
We've made the attempt, but...
It seems that our messages never reached her. Someone intercepted them.
It's better that we don't leave this to chance. If Orlais falls to Corypheus, no land is safe.
We shouldn't waste any time. Let's go to the Winter Palace.
All right. Let's go. Who should we bring? I think Sarah, Dorian, and Cassandra. Let's go.
The political situation in Halam Shiral hangs by a thread. The Empress fears our presence could sever it. The Grand Duke is only too happy to have us at the ball as his guests, so our invitation comes from him. Whether we act as his allies or upset the balance of power, he gains an opportunity, if not a clear advantage.
Oh wow, don't I look fancy?
Inquisitor Trevelyan, it is an honor to meet you at last. Bringing the rebel mages into the ranks of your army was a brilliant move. Imagine what the Inquisition could accomplish with the full support of the rightful Emperor of Orlais.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I can see many benefits to such an alliance.
Keep the image firmly in mind. We may see it materialize by the end of the evening. I am not a man who forgets his friends, Inquisitor. You help me, I'll help you. My lady, are you prepared to shock the court by walking into the Grand Ball with a hateful usurper? They will be telling stories of this into the next age.
I can't imagine that crowd has seen anything better than us in their entire lives.
You're a woman after my own heart, my lady. As a friend, perhaps there is a matter you could undertake this evening. This elven woman, Briala, I suspect that she intends to disrupt the negotiations. My people have found these ambassadors all over the fortifications. Sabotage seems the least of their crimes.
That sounds like something I should look into.
Be as discreet as possible. I detest the game, but if we do not play it well, our enemies will make us look like villains. We're keeping the court waiting, Inquisitor. Shall we?
Is that the Inquisitor?
The mage? No, there must be some mistake.
From the circle of Ostwick. So they
What
say.
eyes you with suspicion? Oh, great. Can I talk to people? Make them like me?
There must be...
Pardon me, my lady. Have you seen a ring anywhere? It was a gift from the Countess Montbelliard, enchanted by the Fomari. I cannot go into the ball without it.
Is this ring particularly valuable?
Its worth in coin is not as important as its social value. It was a gift from a member of the Council of Heralds. If she finds out I lost it, she will never forgive me. Not even if I live to be 1,000 years old.
Of all the things you could be worried about, this really shows Ole's priorities, huh?
That's a terrible predicament.
If the Countess finds out, make her have mercy. Should you happen upon it, I beg you, let me know.
Alright, so I guess we do things to gain approval. Well, there it is. Hey.
Maker, what am I going to do if I cannot find my ring?
Is this the ring you were looking for?
You are a treasure. I cannot believe you found it. You have saved me a lifetime of mortification. How can I thank you enough?
Nice. We have gained
Is it
approval.
true the Inquisitor was handed out of the Fade by Andraste?
I don't know, was it?
Is that the Inquisitor?
A martyr? The Maker has an odd sense of
Anyone over here to talk to? Eavesdrop on?
I wish there was more news coming from the Grand Cathedral.
Good news is becoming an increasingly rare commodity.
Oh, there's someone apparently over here. What? Oh wow, there's a whole other.
We can only hope Celine prevails tonight. Gaspard will ruin us all.
More Hala statuettes. I do not have Hala statuettes. Regrettably. Requires storage key. Hi.
Do you mind? We don't wish to be disturbed.
Find a safe spot to eavesdrop.
Any word from the front lines?
My spies said the bodies were beyond counting.
Surely the Empress will put an end to the war tonight.
Pray, my friend. If the Maker does not hear us now, just pray.
Shouldn't all these people be speaking French? Realistically. I mean, that would be really dumb if they were, but...
We can only hope Celine prevails tonight. Gaspard will ruin us all.
I don't know if breaking into storage rooms is a good idea. I'm just gonna save before I do that, just in case. What's in the storage room? Garbage. I mean, I know I really should have done this mission earlier. So all the stuff I find here is probably not going to be very good.
Inquisitor, a moment, if you please. I must warn you before you go inside. How you speak to the court is a matter of life and death. It is no simple matter of etiquette and protocol. Every word, every gesture is measured and evaluated for weakness.
I'll keep my guard up. Don't worry.
The game is like wicked grace played to the death. You must never reveal your cards. When you meet the Empress, the eyes of the entire court will be upon you. You are safer staring down Corypheus.
No pressure then.
It might be a good idea for the others to hear this warning. Especially Sarah. Maybe tell her twice.
I'll have a few discreet words. Everything will be fine.
God.
And the rest will watch over us all.
If this goes wrong, I'm reloading a save. Oh wow, look at this party. Let's see what's off to the side first, shall we? A door I can't open. More doors I can't open. Lovely. Guess we have no choice but to go up. Anyone got anything interesting to say?
Can Gaspard take the throne without the backing of the Council of Heralds?
He plans to take it by force. If the Council won't recognize him, he'll march against them.
Cullen, hey.
I need to have this jacket let out a little.
I heard the Grand Duke invited the Inquisition here.
I had hoped to tour the Royal Wing Gardens again.
I have heard they are the finest in the Empire. It's such a pity the wing is sealed. How could the Empress afford to renovate the palace without war going on?
I heard that it wasn't renovations at all. The palace was damaged by Gaspard's catapults.
He fired on the Winter Palace? That's monstrous. I heard Celine was having the entire wing redecorated. But the timing is atrocious.
Why would she do such a thing now?
How has the lyrium trade dropped off so sharply?
With so much fighting, demand should be higher than ever.
My contact said there's a new supplier, but we can't track down who it might be.
I saw this on a glitch compilation, and nothing's changed.
Just gossip.
Why are there so...
Waste of time.
Guest wing. Grand ballroom.
Need to have this jacket let out a little.
Really, Cullen? Nothing to say?
The sooner we go in, the sooner we can get this over with.
What is Gaspard up to? It wouldn't surprise me if he brought the Inquisitor here as a prey. How can they call this a vestibule? It's a foyer.
Please, it's barely half the size of the foyer in the Imperial Palace. It's obviously just a vestibule.
I'd call it more of an antechamber myself.
How long can Orzammar hold out with trade disrupted?
We have reserves of goods, but the king wants trade resumed having starts.
I need more approval.
If nothing else, the Inquisition back in Gaspard will make Celine dance. You know how pious she is.
That's a bit of pseudo-canon D. The party piece. Wonder if
I had no idea.
wait, where actually
I
is
can hardly
Liliana?
believe Gaspard and Celine are in the same room.
Waste of time.
Gaspard never struck me as pious. He must think he gains military advantage.
Where's Liliana?
The Inquisition.
The guest wing is not open to the public at this time, Inquisitor.
Okay, I need to figure out where Liliana is. I can't go back out. Alright, I guess we have to...
And now presenting Grand Duke Gaspard de Chalon, and accompanying him, Lady Inquisitor Trevelyan of the Ostwick Circle of Magi. Vanquisher of the rebel mages of Ferelden, crusher of the vile apostates of the Mage Underground.
He is so full of it. That's not how it went.
Champion of the Blessed Andraste herself.
Did you see their faces? Priceless.
Accompanying the Inquisitor, Seeker, Cassandra, Allegra, Portia, Calogera, Philomena.
Get on with it.
Pantagast, 14th cousin to the King of Navarra, 9 times removed. Hero of Orlais. Right hand of the Divine. Lord Dorian Pavus, member of the Circle of Arantium, son of Lord Magister Hallwood Pavus of Azariel. Her ladyship, my bulls each, of course. Sir Cullen Stanton Rutherford of Homley, commander of the forces of the Inquisition, former Knight Commander of Kirkwall.
Knight Captain.
Lady Liliana, Nightingale of the Imperial Court, veteran of the 5th Blight, Seneschal of the Inquisition, and left hand of the Divine. And Lady Josephine Charette Montillier of Antiva City, Ambassador of the Inquisition.
Cousin, my dear sister.
Grand Duke, we are always honored when your presence graces our court.
Don't waste my time with pleasantries, Celine. We have business to conclude.
We will meet for the negotiations after we have seen to our other guests.
Inquisitor?
Lady Inquisitor, we welcome you to the Winter Palace. Allow us to present our cousin, the Grand Duchess of Leeds, without whom this gathering would never have been possible.
What an unexpected pleasure. I was not aware the Inquisition would be part of our festivities. We will certainly speak later, Inquisitor.
Your arrival at court is like a cool wind on a summer's day. I am delighted to be here, Your Majesty. We have heard much of your exploits, Inquisitor. They have made grand tales for long evenings. How do you find Halam Shiral?
I've never seen anything to equal the Winter Palace.
We hope you will find time to take in some of its beauty. Feel free to enjoy the pleasures of the ballroom, Inquisitor. We look forward to watching you dance.
Inquisitor, a word when you have a moment.
Tell me, Yvette, how are my men? Are they in good health? Do they want for anything?
Can you believe the Inquisition fill its ranks with apostates?
You just know that will end badly.
Nothing out here? Well.
Is that her?
The only one to survive the Temple of Sacred Ashes, yes.
Also, do stop slouching.
Are you happy to see me at all, Josie?
It may not
Get
have been
these
wise to attend
pastries
this
out to the
particular
diplomats.
engagement, Yvette.
I didn't want to come.
I can't
Mother
carry them
made
all.
me. At least Haram Sharal has such pretty gardens. They're so darling. I took out my parchment.
Not another book of poetry.
Josephine! Oh, Josephine! Is this her?
Inquisitor, please allow me to present to you my younger sister, Yvette Gabriella Montillier.
Delighted to meet you, Lady Montillier.
Inquisitor, I've heard so much about you, but not as much as I want. Josephine writes, but she never tells me anything. Is it true? Rebel mages in Redcliffe were performing blood rites and orgies before you stopped them.
Where did you hear such nonsense?
Everyone in Antiva says so. Is it true?
Of course, every word. Especially the parts where everyone was nude.
I knew it.
This may be my only chance to hear about when Josephine was a girl.
Oh yes, as she told you about when she was 10 and...
Yvette, stop.
Fine. What about when we were climbing the cliffs by the...
No.
She once told the Duke of...
Absolutely not.
Huh. She still plays with her doll collection when no one's looking.
Yvette! Absurd. Absolutely preposterous.
Which power should the Inquisition throw its weight behind?
Celine has held the throne successfully for years. I see no profit in ousting her. Gaspard has run military campaigns, but never a kingdom. His transition would be, let us say, chaotic.
Tell me about yourself, Lady Yvette. This is the first time I've encountered any of Josephine's family.
She would forget to mention the artists. I've been studying painting under Antiva's royal tutors. You should be proud, Josie. I'm going to be exhibiting my work next season in the city's biggest salon.
Have you actually sat down and finished the painting yet?
I must wait for my inspiration.
And I must wait for your tutor's bills.
Enjoying the ball?
I see many of.
The dancing is so dull, Your Worship. But the Empress's gallery is magnificent.
Yvette.
Sorry, Josie.
Go on, Josephine.
Half Royal must be empty. So many of the Empire's finest are in attendance. They've noticed the Empress paying you special attention, but they don't quite know how to take advantage of it yet. This uncertainty won't last long, I'm afraid.
I'll see you later.
Another time.
Yes.
Have you heard from your nephew?
Not since his
Sarah?
regiment joined the fighting.
Crotchrup beats his squire. He's a she. As a bastard. Extra toes. What a fun, close marrying crowd.
Making any new friends?
Not likely. I'm watching them watch you. They're all glances and titters. Not sure if they're allowed to like you yet. Pathetic.
Any thoughts on who we're investigating?
The Empress is pretty. It'd be fun to drink and kill stuff with Gaspard. Briala is friggin' funny. Elves, elves, elves. But it's really a pissing match with an old lover. Don't know the rest, but that explains a lot. They're all lying, but Celine's nice to look at. Good thing we're here to save her neck.
Any hidden treasures from friends of your little network?
You mean, do any of the servants ferrying tarts between these windy tits hate them enough to give up a stash or two? I'm not saying yes, but wait, yes I am. There's some good stuff hidden around. Keep an eye out.
Back soon.
Not going anywhere.
That looks like Varric.
Laurent was the love of my life. Perhaps we can speak later, Inquisitor.
Cullen, hey.
Are you married, Commander?
Not yet, but I am already taken.
Still single, then?
Excuse me, bitch!
Inquisitor, did you need something? The sooner we track down this infiltrator, the better.
Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary?
Not yet. It would be easier if people would stop talking to me. Other people. Not you.
Do you have any advice?
Orlesian's social events don't fall within my area of expertise. There are a few here we can trust. Be careful.
Who do you think the Inquisition should support?
Gaspard's claim to the throne is fair. Orlais needs someone capable of responding to the crisis at hand. A military-minded leader seems the best option.
I'm also thinking of Ferelden here. If he were to get ruled, then that would spell disaster for Ferelden, I think. And I'm not doing that to Alistair.
You've attracted a following. Who are all these people?
I don't know. They won't leave me alone.
Not enjoying the attention, then?
Hardly. Anyway, yours is the only attention worth having.
Oh.
I don't suppose you'd save a dance for me?
No, thank you.
Cullen?
No, I didn't mean to make us breath. I've answered that question so many times, I'm rejecting it automatically. I'm not one for dancing. The Templars never attended balls.
We should remedy that at some point.
We'll talk later.
I await your signal.
Are all the Delancey's here?
Maker, I hope not.
Did I already... I think I already came out here. And out here.
Does anyone have a report on the casualties?
The band is still waiting for their refreshments.
You should invite all the family to Skyhold for the summer.
You'd be bored.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Pentecost wearing.
We can only
Clothes.
hope Celine prevails tonight. Gaspard will ruin us all.
Alright, Liliana, where are you?
Good. I was hoping I would catch you. What did the Duke say?
He points the finger at Ambassador Briala.
The ambassador is up to something, but she can't be our focus. The best place to strike at Celine is from her side. Empress Celine is fascinated by mysticism, foreseeing the future, speaking with the dead, that sort of rubbish.
I mean, speaking with the dead is possible, I'm pretty
She
sure.
has an occult advisor.
In this,
An
anyway.
apostate who charmed the Empress and key members of the court as if by magic. I've had dealings with her in the past. She is ruthless and capable of anything.
How can Celine openly keep an apostate in the Imperial Court?
The Imperial Court has always had an official position for a mage. Before now, it was little better than court jester. Vivian was the first to turn that appointment into a source of real political power. When the circles rebelled, technically every mage became an apostate. The word lost much of its strength.
That sounds exactly like the person we're looking for.
She's worth investigating. Can't be sure of anything here. Both leads point toward the guest wing. It's a promising place to start. I'll coordinate with our spies to see if I can find anything better. I will be in the ballroom if you need me.
Alright, well, we need more approval. What's up, Cassandra?
This ball is a waste of time. Like all Orlesian foolishness.
No, I agree.
Let's find the Venatori collaborator and get out of here.
Have you witnessed anything noteworthy?
Nothing yet. I will let you know.
You don't seem to care much for the ball.
Orlesians pretend their petty squabbles are a game. Yes, let us treat murder, corruption, and deceit as delightful amusements. How wonderful. We are here to save Empress Celine, and it galls me. Why does she merit our protection? The Empire would be better off without her. Gaspard is the leader Orlais needs in this crisis.
You support the civil war?
Of course not. Chaos is what Corypheus wants, and we must oppose him. Were it up to me, however, I would let Celine fall and Gaspard take the throne. He would see the true threat, not spend his time throwing balls and writing letters.
Stay alert. We don't know where the enemy is hiding.
I'll be watching for trouble. The sooner we leave this place, the better.
Check there's no eavesdropping opportunities. Oh.
Just gossip.
Come on, there's gotta be something. That other one's no longer appearing, so I guess that means we must have picked up. Let's try again, shall we?
Well, that's useful.
Ah, we found scandalous secrets. Oh, the guest room is open. What does this say? Carthway Little No for Empress Yvette.
We are not serving drinks. Order someone else.
That's a good place to eavesdrop.
The package is in the guest wing. Upper room.
The one of the garden. Statuette.
Monument to my amazing accomplishments. God, I miss Alyssa.
Might be something here. Better take a closer look.
Caprice coin. Are those the things you throw in fountains? The hawk mentioned in DA2. God, I don't want to do Here Lies the Abyss, but mainly because I don't want to look at Hawk. I butchered him so badly.
Interesting.
Who's? Someone's out there.
I had no idea.
Gaspard is wasting his time. Nothing he does could win over the Council of Heralds now.
You don't want to be here, stranger.
Is that blood on the floor?
He hasn't made the pickup. It's been hours.
You went into the servants' wing. Nobody's come out of there all night.
I'll tell Briala we have a situation.
Let's go talk with whoever's out here. Ooh.
My lady! My lady Inquisitor!
May we have a word? It is very important. The Empress has sent us with a message for you.
How can I be certain this message is from the Empress?
We three wear the masks of House Valmont.
They signify that we are public faces of the Empress.
They are also extremely fashionable.
Funny that she couldn't give me this message when we spoke.
Oh, she could not speak freely in front of the entire court, Inquisitor.
Empress Celine is eager to assist the Herald of Andraste in her holy endeavor.
She will pledge her full support to the Inquisition as soon as the usurper Gaspard is defeated.
That's a generous offer.
The Empress believes wholeheartedly that the Inquisition is our best hope for peace in these difficult times.
She looks forward to cementing a formal alliance.
As soon as Gaspard is out of the way.
But we have taken enough of your time.
Please, enjoy the masquerade, Inquisitor.
Oh, Dorian, there you are.
This is all so familiar. I half expect my mother to materialize from the crowd and criticize my manners.
Is this how the elite of Tevinter carry on?
You could almost mistake this for a soiree in the Imperial. The same double-dealing, elegant poison canapes. It's lacking only a few sacrificial slaves and some blood magic. But the night is still young.
You shouldn't joke about that, Dorian. I want him to meet Fenris. That might knock him off his high horse. That would knock him off his high horse.
Have you seen anything I should know about?
So far, this seems like harmless political intrigue. A few murders arranged. Some scandals contrived from nothing. Like a homecoming, honestly.
I appreciate that you were willing to come here.
And expose myself to all this exquisite finery and exotic wines? Such hardship.
Not everyone's likely to be friendly. That's all I meant.
It's true. You'd think I smelled of cabbages the way they wrinkle their noses. It's of no concern, but thank you.
Fancy person?
Did you need something?
To eavesdrop. I don't think that was supposed to happen.
It's been too long since I've had any word from Valois.
Interesting.
Huh?
What is Lady Pentecost wearing?
Waste of time.
Did you see I'm the One? That was the credit song to Origins. And it absolutely slaps.
I had no idea.
There's 30 secrets to learn. That sure is a lot of secrets. God, it's the same tune and everything. Oh, that brings back a lot of memories.
Gaspard is wasting his time.
I do miss Origins a lot.
You should have considered.
Interesting.
Where's the eavesdrop?
Inquisitor, are you enjoying the ball? This is your first presentation at court, is it not? I am Lady Marcelette, court historian to Her Imperial Majesty.
What exactly does a court historian do?
I am responsible for the historical records of the court. I maintain our library and record all official proceedings.
Are you here to chronicle the events of the evening for posterity?
Oh yes! This is a momentous occasion. The first meeting between the Grand Duke and Her Majesty since the war began. Even if, Maker forbid, the talks should fail, it is an important moment in the history of the Empire.
Good evening, Lady Marcelette.
Another time, perhaps.
Did you hear what Gaspard said to Duke Germain? His own uncle.
Germain bore his nephew's spite better than the rest of the council. Did you see that panicked attaché roaming about?
What?
Well, well. What's this?
Clara, kitchen staff, entered servant's wing by main stair 130. Vernon, undergardener, entered servant's wing from hall 245. Sophie, chambermaid. Oh, it's me. I'm a chambermaid. Entered servant's wing from hall 322. Marius, footman, entered servant's wing by main stair 345. Briala, we need immediate support down there. Something's gone wrong. Yeah, you'd think the blood on the floor might be a bit of a giveaway. Oh, there's that. I went right past that.
Philippe should have returned hours ago, dallying with some serving girl while I deal with Gaspard's vitriol.
I can't imagine Gaspard being vitriolic. What's the matter?
The Grand Duke bears a grudge against the council for refusing him the crown. He's threatened death if they refuse him again, collectively and individually, along with their vassals.
Oh.
What backwater did you come from? Everyone knows that.
Crap. When was that? Just now. Oh. When was the one before that? A few minutes ago. Alright. I guess this means I don't have to read. I haven't spoken to Dorian yet.
This is all so familiar. I half expect my mother to materialize from the crowd and criticize my manners.
Is this how the elite of Tevinter carry on?
You could almost mistake this for a soiree in the Imperial. The same double-dealing, elegant poison canapes. It's lacking only a few sacrificial slaves and some blood magic. But the night is still young.
Have you seen anything I should know about?
Other than an overabundance of lavender perfume? No, nothing extraordinary.
I appreciate that you were willing to come here.
And expose myself to all this exquisite finery and exotic wines? Such hardship.
Not everyone's likely to be friendly. That's all I meant.
It's true. You'd think I smelled of cabbages the way they wrinkle their noses. It's of no concern, but thank you.
Alright, I need to go and eavesdrop again as well.
Interesting.
Sorry
Just
about this,
gossip.
guys. I'm not really willing to risk that minus 15 court approval or anything. Where'd the bard go? I was rather enjoying that rendition of I Am the One.
Waste of time.
Oh, come on. What?
Just gossip.
Oh, come on. We got this, like... Maybe I need to talk to this guy.
This is a private conversation.
Somehow gained 1 court approval.
Well, that's useful.
Alright, that's that.
Gaspard is wasting his time. Nothing he does could win over the Council of...
And there's one of Sarah's stashes as well.
Consider that before threatening Granda.
It's been too long since I've had any word from Valois.
It's apparently right there. It's a mystery.
Gaspard is wasting his time.
Get these pastries out to the diplomats.
Oh, I should talk to her again as well.
Inquisitor, are you enjoying the ball? This is your first presentation at court, is it not?
I am Lady Marcelette, court historian to Her Imperial Majesty.
What exactly does a court historian do?
I am responsible for the historical records of the court. I maintain our library and record all official proceedings.
Are you here to chronicle the events of the evening for posterity?
Oh yes, this is a momentous occasion. The first meeting between the Grand Duke and Her Majesty since the war began. Even if, Maker forbid, the talks should fail, it is an important moment in the history of the Empire.
Good evening, Lady Marcelette.
Another time, perhaps.
Did you hear what Gaspard said to Duke Germain? His own uncle.
Well, well. What's this?
Okay.
Philippe should have returned hours ago.
Time to not mess up.
Dallying with some serving girl while I deal with Gaspard's vitriol.
Awfully selfish of this filly, running off to play and leaving you with all the work.
I've half a mind to inform the Dowager. That would teach him to shirk his duties to roll some elven maid. The night of all nights, leaving me to convey Gaspard's death threats to the Council. Wonderful timing, Philippe. Thank you for listening to me rant. You are too kind, Inquisitor.
Alright, so the idea is to not be blunt. It's all part of the game. What you saying?
Waste of time.
What do I need to go up to them and...
Well, well, the Inquisitor. Here as a guest of my nephew, no less. I'm curious.
I didn't know the Grand Duke was your nephew.
He's my brother's eldest boy. Always a difficult child, Gaspard. Never listened, never did what he was told. He was raised a prince. All his life we told him he would be emperor. It was his destiny, his duty. What else should he do with his life, if not fight for his destiny?
Another time, my lord.
Alright, we're doing okay.
Just gossip. I had no idea.
Ah, there's the bard with her lovely glitched pose. That's definitely how you play a lute.
It's been too long since I've had any word from Valroyaux.
Oh, we're supposed to climb? What?
only hope Celine prevails tonight. Gaspard will ruin us all.
Gaspard is wasting his time.
Move, bitches.
Nothing he does could win over the Council of Heralds now.
Should consider them before threatening to burn them all in their homes.
We can only hope Celine prevails tonight. Gaspard will ruin us all.
Interesting.
You must be mistaken.
No, I'm quite certain it was blood on the tiles.
Yeah, I saw
If
it.
they're playing the game, they're not doing it very well. You don't leave evidence if you play to win.
With Gaspard and that elf woman here, the only one playing to win is Celine.
You only say that because you fancy the Empress's pet apostate. It sickens me to think of the chaos those Maleficarum are causing across the Empire.
Even you cannot deny that the Templars abandoned the faithful in their darkest hour. How can you condone that? They are the ones who should be brought to heel, if you ask me.
Stash. Gets back in Sarah's good books after I kind of pissed her off at the end of a new quest.
Lady Nightingale makes me nervous.
Gaspard is wasting his time. Nothing he does could win over the Council of Heralds now.
This is a private conversation.
Did I hear correctly? If you're interested in bringing the Templars to heel, you may have found an ally.
If that's true, I would welcome an alliance with the Inquisition. I will get in touch with your Lady Nightingale. I have assets that might benefit your cause.
Gentlemen.
Nice.
What is Lady Pentecost wearing?
Alright, I guess it's time to take the plunge. Exploring the off-limit spaces of the palace can yield rewards, but take care not to be gone too long. When you're absent from the party, people notice and your cost approval will drop. Well, it says here that if you pause the game, it doesn't drop your approval, so... yeah, we are paused. It's a power pose. Okay, it says here to do this first, so yeah, I'm using a guide for this. I don't want to screw this mission up. So yeah, I know it's cheating, but I don't want to go out leave this mission feeling horrible. I'm sure this is all this loot is trash, but shit. Alright, so that leads back to the vestibule then. That is good to know. Let's go grab that letter then.
That's the bell. I should get back to the ballroom.
Oops. Let's go, let's go.
Gaspard is wasting his time. Nothing he does could win over the
Okay.
Well, well. What have we here?
Morrigan?
The leader of the new Inquisition. Fabled herald of the faith.
Oh
Delivered from the grasp of the Fade by the hand of blessed Andraste herself. What could bring such an exalted creature here to the Imperial Court, I wonder? Do even you know?
Oh my god, it's Morrigan! What is she doing here? So she was the apostate? Oh my god.
I'm here on important business concerning the entire Empire.
As am I, it seems. I am Morrigan. Some call me advisor to Empress Celine on matters of the arcane. You have been very busy this evening, hunting in every dark corner of the palace. Perhaps you and I hunt the same prey.
I don't know, do we?
You are being coy.
I'm being careful.
Not unwise, here of all places. Allow me to speak first.
God, it's so weird as every scene
Recently,
Morrigan.
I found and killed an unwelcome guest within these very halls. An agent of Tevinter. So I offer you this, Inquisitor. A key found on the Tevinter's body. Where it leads, I cannot say. Yet, if Celine is in danger, I cannot leave her side long enough to search. You can.
You left Celine alone. Is that wise?
I must return to her anon, but she is safe enough. For the moment. 'Twould be a great fool who strikes at her in public in front of all her court and the Imperial Guard.
What's your interest in protecting Empress Celine? Are you her bodyguard?
Do I seem a bodyguard to you? If anything were to happen to Celine, eyes would turn first to her occult advisor, even if they knew otherwise. There are sharks in the water, and I will not fall prey to them. Not now, not ever.
Why did you kill the agent? He might have had useful information.
I mean, it's
I
Morrigan.
would not have slain the man on sight had he not attacked me first. Why? Undoubtedly, I caught him in an illicit act. I did not know from whence he came until after the battle, and regret only that I could not capture him alive. What intentions the Imperium has here, I suspect you know far better than I.
If you truly want answers, help me find them.
I already told you. I must return to protect the Empress. Proceed with caution, Inquisitor. Enemies abound, and not all of them aligned with Tevinter. What comes next will be most exciting.
Okay. God, it's so weird seeing Morrigan. Like, we haven't seen her since Witch Hunt, when she went through the Alluvian to some unknown destination. And what happened to the kid?
If the Inquisitor is here at Gaspard, does that mean that Empress
Right, where is everyone?
wants you to be Emperor?
I still remember. Another time, perhaps?
The
Mistress Inquisitor, look at Lady Cambion's slippers, trimmed with pearls and emeralds, and those buckles. Toss her into the lake and she'll sink right to the bottom. What a disaster.
Glad to see some things don't change.
You're different here than in Skyhold. More approachable, perhaps.
This is Halam Shiral, Inquisitor. This is the Imperial Court. This is the beating heart of the Great Game. Of course, everyone is wearing a mask. I learned this very young. I was still a girl when I attended my first ball. All this, the smiles, the small talk, it is a dance. And like any dance, it can be learned. For some of us, it has become so familiar that the steps may be performed in our sleep.
I found this out. I'm not sure of its value.
Very interesting. It may not help our investigation, but we can put it to use. A little more dirt like this, and we might have some leverage in the court. If you find more, let me know.
I should go. Be on your guard.
I always am.
Mistress Nightingale, what a pleasure to see you again. You look radiant.
Marquis, it's been far too...
Inquisitor, was there something you needed?
I already asked him all this.
We'll talk later.
I await your signal.
Oh, I love Cullen.
Why would the Empress invite that elf woman?
Inquisitor,
game, of course.
to what do we owe
Celine
this
has
honor?
something up her sleeve.
We are always delighted to speak with you, of course. Her Imperial Majesty is unfortunately occupied at present.
Perhaps you could tell me something then. I'd like to know more about Empress Celine.
Her Majesty has held the throne since she was just 16 years old.
She is respected and beloved, not just in Orlais, but across Thedas.
She doesn't care much for liver, and she drinks her tea black.
Ugh. Ugh. Black tea. No. Black tea is disgusting. I'm sorry. I love tea. It's like my favourite thing in the world, but I can't do black tea. Ugh.
We haven't been properly introduced.
How rude of us to forget.
Milady Inquisitor, may I present Lady Couteau?
And Lady Cullen.
And of course, Lady Fleur. We are the Empress's ladies-in-waiting.
I'd like to know more about the negotiations. What can you tell me about the other parties involved in the talks?
Gaspard is a decorated general, much beloved by the Imperial army, and a legend among chevaliers.
He is better suited to the battlefield than the throne, and he would gladly make his palace a war camp.
He's also fiendishly charming.
Lady Briella has great intentions to change the lives of the elves for the better.
Even if her plans could never work and would only provoke hate crimes against alienages.
She is an idealist, but her lack of patience could prove disastrous.
What is the Empress trying to accomplish with the negotiations?
Peace is her only objective, Inquisitor.
Gaspard and Briella are driven by personal ambitions, but those desires threaten the safety of all Orlesians.
The war must end tonight. We must conclude this to deal with the larger crisis.
It seems strange to hold peace talks during a ball.
The nobility must do things very differently in Austria.
By Orlesian tradition, moments of great solemnity are celebrated with revels and feasts.
While joyous occasions are given time for reflection and contemplation.
We must never forget that life is both bitter and sweet.
The ball is an opportunity to celebrate life and hope for the future, while we mourn those killed in the war.
Good evening.
Until next time, Inquisitor.
Do take care.
Enjoy the masquerade.
Oh, Briella is out here.
Duke Gaspard has made a fortunate alliance.
Hi.
Inquisitor Trevelyan. Inquisitor agrees. Slumming even more than usual. I see. You've charmed some of the nobles. We'll see how long you can keep their favor. What brings you to me?
I want to know more about the peace talks. What can you tell me about Celine and Gaspard?
Gaspard is a warmonger. He served in the war against Ferelden and fought a dozen skirmishes on the Navarran border. He's a simple man. Simple men aren't hard to manipulate. Celine is the voice of reason in the Empire. But reason is cautious. Reason looks for compromise. Reason doesn't choose radical change, however sorely it may be needed.
I had a question about you, Briella.
I'm an elf, Inquisitor. That should tell you everything you need to know about my life. I'm good at what I do. And so that matters. I will help my people no matter the cost.
We'll speak more later, Ambassador.
Another time, Inquisitor.
Oh, my approval is 72. Okay. Right. What else do we need? We need... to enter the servants' quarters. Where is that, though? There. I don't think he wants to talk about his time in Kirkwall, honestly. Can you leave him alone, please?
What a pleasure to see you.
Can you leave him alone, please? This is harassment.
Marquis, it's been far too long. How's your family in Valchevin?
No complaints, my dear, no complaints. You must come to the chateau to see the girls. They will be overjoyed.
Oh, I've missed them very much. Little Sylvie must be 10 now, no? Did you see Gaspard dance?
He and Celine aren't getting anywhere, it's obvious.
Perhaps I shall call on you soon.
Excellent. Now I must dance with the dowager. It was lovely to see you.
Maximilian
Swooping is bad. That's the wrong way. How do we get... Oh, we need to go there. This place is a maze.
My dear Maximilian, it took 4 chevaliers to hunt down the man who killed him.
Wait, where's the door? Oh, I went right past it. Oh, nice, smart person. But the... Okay, what? Or do I need to go out into the... Okay, now I'm really confused. Fifth husband. Jesus Christ. Well, this was right in front of me the whole time. In case I screw this up badly. Let's save.
This could be worth checking out.
So Stroud. Jean-Marc Stroud. That's like the most French name ever. I like how the load screens have codex entries on in this. Very cool. Weapons. Armor.
caught in the middle of this crap? What fully qualified arsehole stops to kill a cook?
Hold on, what? What do I pick up? Oops. Oh, there's a statue there. Come on.
Got to be something here.
This was no servant. What was he doing here?
This guy's way too fancy to belong down here. What's his story?
Is that the Chalon family crest? What have you been up to, Gaspard?
Time to have a word with the Duke.
Venatori agents!
That must be the Venatori leader.
Back me up!
The Venatori were watching this approach. They're organized.
this is so intense. The game wasn't being frames. Shit.
The Empress can't give up her pretty things.
Oh, cutscene.
Fancy meeting you here. Shouldn't you be dancing, Inquisitor? What will the nobility say?
Ambassador, we meet again.
Your reputation for getting results is well deserved. You cleaned this place out. Will take a month to get all the Tevinter blood off the marble. I came down to save or avenge my missing people. But you've beaten me to it. So, the Council of Herald's emissary in the courtyard. That's not your work, is it?
Gaspard killed him, I think. The knife has a Charon crest on the hilt.
I knew it. I knew he was smuggling his chevaliers. But killing a council emissary? Bringing Tevinter assassins into the palace? Those are desperate acts. Gaspard must be planning to strike tonight.
The Empress needs to know what's going on.
You can try to warn her. She won't believe anything from me. I misjudged you, Inquisitor. You might just be an ally worth having. What could you do with an army of elven spies at your disposal? You should think about it.
You know how to make a sales pitch, Ambassador. I'll give you that.
I do, don't I? I know which way the wind is blowing. I'd bet coin that you'll be part of the peace talks before the night is over. And if you happen to lean a little bit our way, it could prove advantageous to us both. Just a thought.
Something about her voice sounds familiar. She
No
sounds...
politics and double dealing.
She sounds a little bit like Brooks from the Citadel DLC in Mass Effect. Just like the inflections. But I don't know. She was doing a different accent, so I wouldn't... But that's, I'm probably making that up.
Is there anyone here who is not corrupt?
There is so much conniving and backstabbing here. It makes me homesick.
I love you, Dorian. Ah, shit.
Inquisitor Trevelyan.
Hi.
We met briefly. I am Grand Duchess Floriane de Chalon. Welcome to my party.
Is there something I can do for you, Your Grace?
Indeed you can. I believe tonight you and I are both concerned by the actions of a certain person. Come, dance with me. Spies will not hear us on the dance floor.
Sure.
Very well. Shall we dance, Your Grace?
I'd be delighted.
Since Cullen won't dance with me.
You are from the Free Marches, are you not? How much do you know about our little war?
What do you think I ought to know?
My brother and my dear cousin have been at each other's throats for too long.
It took great effort to arrange tonight's negotiations. Yet one party would use this occasion for blackest treason. The security of the Empire is at stake. Neither one of us wishes to see it fall.
Do we both want that, Lady Floriane?
I hope we are of one mind on this.
In times like these, it's hard to tell friend from foe. Is it not, Your Grace?
I know you arrived here as a guest of my brother Gaspard, and have been everywhere in the palace. You are a curiosity to many, Inquisitor, and a matter of concern to some.
Let's be
Am
coy.
I the curiosity or the concern to you, Your Grace?
A little of both, actually. This evening is of great importance, Inquisitor. I wonder what role you will play in it. Do you even yet know who is friend and who is foe? Who in the court can be trusted?
An excellent question. I might ask the same of you, Your Grace.
In the Winter Palace, everyone is alone. It cannot have escaped your notice that certain parties are engaged in dangerous machinations tonight.
I thought dangerous machinations were the national sport in Orlais.
You have little time. The attack will come soon. You must stop Gaspard before he strikes. In the Royal Wing Garden, you will find the captain of my brother's mercenaries. He knows all Gaspard's secrets. I'm sure you can persuade him to be forthcoming.
We'll see what the night has in store, won't we?
Oh, wow.
You'll be the talk of the court for months. We should take you dancing more often.
I'd happily do more dancing, just not with Corypheus.
I promise not to invite him to your next ball.
Were you dancing with Duchess Florian?
More importantly, what happened in the servants' quarters? I heard there was fighting.
I hope you have good news. It appears the peace talks are crumbling.
The Grand Duchess told me there's proof Gaspard is in league with Tevinter.
She offered up her own brother? She's more cutthroat than I realized.
Then, the attack on the Empress will happen tonight.
Warning Celine is pointless. She needs these talks to succeed, and to flee would admit defeat. Then perhaps we should let her die.
You have an idea, Leliana?
What Corypheus wants is chaos. Even with Celine alive, that could still happen. To foil his plan, the Empire must remain strong. This evening, someone must emerge victorious.
And it doesn't need to be Celine. She's right.
Do you realize what you're suggesting, Leliana? Sometimes the best path is not the easiest one.
You're asking me to decide what's best for Orlais?
More than that, whoever controls the Imperial throne will affect all of Thedas.
You cannot stop Corypheus without a decision. You must support someone, or all is lost.
Then we should support Celine. She is the rightful ruler. Why would we say otherwise?
Because she led Orlais to this point. I say Gaspard, provided his sister is wrong about
He's literally in league with
I would
Tevinter.
suggest Briella. She could bring true peace, not only to the Empire, but also to its elves.
This is, however, your decision, Inquisitor, not ours.
I can't decide this. Not yet.
You must. Even inaction is a decision, Inquisitor.
I'm well aware.
You could speak to Celine in the ballroom, but she won't act. Not without proof.
If Gaspard is guilty, he'll admit nothing. If he's innocent, he knows nothing. We need the truth.
What did Duchess Florian tell you?
She said Gaspard's mercenary captain is in the Royal Wing, that he knows about the assassination.
Which could be a trap.
Or a lead. Either way, you should search the private quarters in that wing for clues.
Then get me access, and in the meantime, get your soldiers into position.
At once. Be careful, Inquisitor.
We've reached 100 approval. Didn't think I would manage that. Where's the royal wing then? Alright, we need to go to find material to blackmail people. Much as I would not like to do that. What's the other thing? Oh, there's two entrances, that makes more sense.
There must be something here.
Oh shit. This is not where I want to be. Let's get out of here. But it was worth it for the scandalous secret.
How are the talks proceeding?
Interesting.
Who can I eavesdrop on?
Well, that's useful.
All right. Oh wait, wanna leave. I need to go back to talk to Briala again. Ugh, God, so much back and forth in this.
Acquainted with my darling Hervé. Still cannot believe
Ugh.
it's allergic to bees.
So many crimes of fashion.
You spoke of Lady Cambien's shoes earlier. Shouldn't you be focused on other things?
Everyone needs a hobby. Besides, you can learn a great deal about a person from their clothing. Gold and jewels on a dancing slipper. A slipper is easily lost and finds itself in the dust and dirt. She is unconcerned with the possibility of losing the shoe or soiling it. A vulgar display of wealth. But Lady Cambien's family has recently lost most of its holdings. They have their title, but little else. So, how did Cambien acquire such a grand shoe, What has she done? Who has she bedded? These are all useful questions, no?
I found this out. I'm not sure of its value.
We can use this.
Is it true the Inquisitor was
we meet again. Given any thought to what I said?
I found an Elven Locket hidden among Celine's things. This isn't yours, is it?
That sounded
Let me
weirdly
see that.
aggressive.
She kept this. What was she thinking? If Gaspard had found this, it would have ruined her.
It might have meant something to her.
Maybe it did. She held on to it.
We'll speak more later, Ambassador.
Another time, Inquisitor. Is there something we may do for you?
We do so enjoy speaking with you.
We will speak to the Empress on your behalf.
I made a fascinating discovery. An Elven Locket in the Empress's vault.
Oh dear. That is very interesting.
I'll get Her Majesty.
Inquisitor, I regret that we did not have time to speak earlier. No doubt you have questions about many things.
I found an Elven Locket sealed in the palace vault. You must have considered it quite valuable.
It was sentimental. I don't know why I kept it. It was a foolish thing to do.
What made the two of you part ways?
She wanted change, and she thought I should deliver it. My word is law, Inquisitor, but laws don't command people's hearts. Culture does not transform itself overnight. I failed her. I should have dared more. But the past, like so many things, is beyond my command.
Maybe you kept it because you still care for Briala.
Perhaps I do. But I cannot put her above all the people of my empire. Dispose of the locket however you like. It means nothing to me.
I don't buy that. Alright, now we are good
It's
to...
been too long since I've had any word from Valois. I told my seventh husband.
What? Showing a hidden object just before. No. Alright, now let's get back to it. Alright. We need to get some blackmail material.
Sarah, what are you wearing? Are you sure it's dead?
What? Is there something? Oh, ha ha. Eat it.
Hello? Is anyone there? Somebody? Anybody?
What? Out the window.
Oh, thank you.
Are you all right?
I don't think I'm hurt. No one's supposed to be here. Briala said... Oh, I shouldn't have trusted her.
Briala told you to come to this wing of the palace.
Not personally. The ambassador can't be seen talking to the servants. We get coded messages at certain locations, but the order came from her. She's been watching the Grand Duke all night. No surprise she wanted someone to search his sister's room.
So this room belongs to Grand Duchess Floriane?
It used to. This had been her private room in Halam Shiral since she was a child. But this part of the palace was damaged, and the royal family moved to the guest wing.
Is there anyone else who knows the code and the drop location who could have written those orders?
I don't know. Any of us could do it, but... No. No one else would send me here. It had to be Briala.
What were you trying to find in Floriane's old room?
The message didn't say. I should have known it was a setup.
This wing is sealed. How did you get in here?
Easy. The door was unlocked. One of the others probably handled it.
It takes great courage to come to the royal wing unarmed.
It's not courage to blindly follow Briala's orders into a trap. I knew her. Before. When she was Celine's pet. Now she wants to play revolution, but I remember. She was sleeping with the Empress who purged our alienage.
Something like that could destroy Briala, if it were known.
No. Some know she has a history with the Empress. But they believe she was just a favored servant. If the Inquisition will protect me, I'll tell you everything I know about our ambassador.
Most Orlesians would say that's Celine's scandal, not Briala's.
Knew it. I did. And I bet the hate's made it feel real good.
Go to the ballroom. Find Commander Cullen. He'll keep you safe.
Thank you. Make her protect you, Inquisitor.
Out of the way, Sarah. Oh my god. My frames despise me right now. It's not. Not from the other side, but how? Oh, there was another door in here. Aren't I smart?
What's this then? Swapping all the gold leaf with diamonds, I bet.
You painted Orlesian assholes! When I get out of this, I'll butcher you like...
What's... Oh.
Inquisitor, what a pleasure. I wasn't certain you'd attend. You're such a challenge to read. I had no idea if you'd taken my bait.
I fear I'm a bit busy at the moment, if you were looking for a dance partner.
Yes, I see that. Such a pity you did not save one final dance for me. It was kind of you to walk into my trap so willingly. I was so tired of your meddling. Corypheus insisted that the Empress die tonight, and I would hate to disappoint him.
Why kill the Empress? What does Corypheus want to achieve?
Celine's death is a stepping stone on the path to a better world. Corypheus will enter the Black City and claim the godhood waiting for him. We will cast down your useless maker and usher in a united world, guided by the hand of an attentive god.
Yeah, I've seen this future, bitch. I don't think.
You're Orlesian royalty. Why would you help Corypheus attack your empire?
You think so small, Inquisitor. Why settle for an empire when Corypheus will remake the entire world? I admit, I will relish the look on Gaspard's face when he realizes I've outplayed him. He always was a sore loser.
What exactly is in this for you?
The world, of course.
A world where the sky is broken and the red lyrium's growing out of everything, sure.
And Corypheus will save me. When he has ascended to godhood, I will rule all Thedas in his name.
You're not being kind, Florian. He's got to get used to disappointment.
But not today, I think. In their darkest dreams, no one imagines I would assassinate Celine myself.
Well, I'm standing right here.
All I need is to keep you out of the ballroom long enough to strike. A pity you'll miss the rest of the ball, Inquisitor. They'll be talking of it for years.
I think you underestimate my
power. Bring me the
power.
marked hand as proof. It will make a fine gift for the master.
You underestimate my power. Die, bitch.
Trust his tits, what was all that? Were those demons? There aren't any more of those blasted demons coming, right?
No more demons. It's safe.
Maker? I've never seen one that close before. I knew Gaspard was a bastard, but I didn't think he'd feed to fucking horrors over a damn bill.
There haven't been very many F-bombs in this game, but they do take me by surprise when they happen. But I can't talk. I'm dropping them all over the place.
Duke Gaspard lured you out here.
Well, his sister. But it had to come from him, didn't it? And all that garbage she was spewing doesn't mean anything. Gaspard had to be the mastermind.
Your accent sounds Ferelden. I thought you were one of Gaspard's mercenaries.
Born and raised in Denerim. Seems like I should have stayed there. The Duke wanted to move on the palace tonight, but he didn't have enough fancy chevaliers. So he hired me and my men. He had to offer us triple our usual pay to come to Orlais. Sticking fancy cheesemongers.
Want a new job? One that pays better. The Inquisition can always use a good mercenary company.
You hiring? I'm game. Anything's better than this bullshit. You want me to talk to the Empress or the court or sing a blasted song in a chantry? I'll do it.
All right. Hold on. I'm sure I spoke. Dorian's been leveled up this whole time, and I keep seeing the thing and then just not. That's all of those talents. What's more spirit magic? Actually, improve. My forward. There we go. Oh. Are we done here? I don't think we can do that. Whatever, I'm not too bothered, I just want to get this over with.
It's been too long since I've had any word from Valois.
Is it now?
Thank the Maker you're back. The Empress will begin her speech soon. What should we do?
I'll talk with Florian.
Wait here, Cullen. I'm going to have a word with the Grand Duchess.
What? There's no time. The Empress will begin her speech any moment.
Oh yeah, we got the 100% approval achievement. Probably sacrifice a lot.
One more show, Your Grace.
Inquisitor.
The eyes of every noble in the Empire are upon us, Your Grace. Remember to smile. This is your party. You wouldn't want them to think you had lost control.
Who would not be delighted to speak with you, Inquisitor?
I seem to recall you saying, all I needed was to keep you out of the ballroom long enough to strike. When your archers failed to kill me in the garden, I feared you wouldn't save me this last dance. It's so easy to lose your good graces. You even framed your brother for the murder of a council emissary. It was an ambitious plan. Celine, Gaspard, the entire Council of Heralds. All your enemies under one roof.
This is very entertaining, but you do not imagine anyone believes your wild stories.
That will be a matter for a judge to decide, cousin.
Gaspard? You cannot believe this. You know I would never... Gaspard?
Have fun in jail.
You lost this fight ages ago, Your Grace. You're just the last to find out.
Oh yeah. That was bad.
Your Imperial Majesty, I think we should speak in private, elsewhere.
Your sister attempted regicide in front of the entire court, Gaspard.
You're the spy master. If anyone knew this atrocity was coming, it was you.
You don't deny your involvement.
I do deny it. I knew nothing of Florian's plans. But you knew it all and did nothing.
I don't know which is better. That you think I'm all-seeing, or that you're trying so hard to play innocent and failing.
Enough! We will not bicker while Tevinter plots against our nation. For the safety of the Empire, I will have answers.
I'm not risking Ferelden for anything.
Your captain tells me you spent all night sneaking mercenaries into the palace, Gaspard. You intended to attack.
And where did your troops come from, Inquisitor? If sneaking men into the palace is damning, then we are both damned.
It's a coincidence, then, that you spent weeks threatening the Council of Heralds.
A few idle threats hardly make me a traitor.
By all means, continue to protest your innocence, Gaspard. We find this performance endlessly fascinating.
He also murdered a Council of Heralds emissary. I found the body and his knife in the servants' quarters.
I have done no such thing.
We've all heard enough to damn the Grand Duke.
Thank you, Inquisitor. There can be no doubt of your treason, Gaspard.
No, it seems there cannot.
In light of overwhelming evidence, we have no choice but to declare you an enemy of the Empire. You are hereby sentenced to death.
Sure.
The Empress has spoken.
Long live the Empire.
Thank you, Inquisitor, for all your efforts tonight. I owe you my life. and Orlais owes you its future. You have done a service for the Empire never to be forgotten, my friend. This piece is your doing. You truly are the instrument of Andraste. Orlais will never forget your part in this, nor will I. Lords and ladies of the court, the civil war which has plagued us is at an end. The Orlesian Empire is whole again. Those who drove us into war for selfish gain have been dealt with as traitors. Gaspard de Chalon is guilty of treason. He is no longer our cousin, and shall never again hold title or land in Orlais. We have lost enough. No more! Now, we can move forward to healing and restoration. In our hour of need, the Inquisition has faced these dangers beside us. It is the honor of Orlais to stand with Andraste's herald to end this crisis. And in ages to come, our children and grandchildren can say that we left them a brighter world. Will you address the court, my friend?
Ending the war was the first step. Our final goal must be peace for all, Thedas.
Well said, Inquisitor. We of the court must use our resources. Not every battle is won on the field, but that is tomorrow. Tonight, feast, my friends. Enjoy our victory. There will be many more to come.
The Orlesian nobility make drunken toasts to your victory, and yet you are not present to hear them. Do you tire so quickly of their congratulations, Inquisitor? 'Tis most fickle, after all your efforts on their behalf.
I would have stayed, but the punch ran dry. Scandalous.
Indeed. Let us see if you take this piece of news as poorly. By Imperial decree, I have been named liaison to the
Oh my
Inquisition.
god, she's coming with us?
Celine wishes to offer you any and all aid, including mine. Congratulations.
Want to join us?
I had no idea you were interested in joining the Inquisition.
The assignment has been given to me, regardless of my personal interest. Celine knows you face an opponent who wields great magical power, which is far more important than her own curiosity. You will require my knowledge if you are to defeat such magic. Regardless, Corypheus is a threat to Orlais and to myself. Thus, I am not opposed to the appointment.
What skills do you have that would benefit us?
I have knowledge which falls beyond the realm of most mages. I suspect this is also true of Corypheus, thus it behooves you to add to your arcane arsenal, yes?
Oh yeah.
Mundane knowledge will not bring the rift in the sky to a close, after all.
Don't think she is a blood mage. I mean, I don't remember her being. Well, anyway.
Welcome to the Inquisition, Morrigan.
A most gracious response. I shall meet you at Skyhold.
Oh my god, it's Morgan. Hi, Cullen.
There you are. Everyone's been looking for you. Things have calmed down for the moment. Are you all right?
Things went according to plan for once. I couldn't be happier.
This whole operation had me on edge. I'm glad it's over. I know it's foolish, but I was worried for you tonight.
Aww.
I may never have another chance like this, so I must ask. May I have this done?
Hell fucking yeah!
Of course. I thought you didn't dance.
For you, I'll try.
Oh my god! love Cullen so much. Oh my god.
The matter is urgent, Lady Josephine.
Who are you?
I am well aware of that, revered mother.
We will need them to return to Val Royeaux as soon as possible. There are ceremonies, ordinations. Maker's mercy.
That's quite impossible at the moment. However, I will see to this matter as soon as possible.
My Lady Inquisitor, please, may I have a word with you?
Yeah, what do you want?
How may I assist you, revered mother?
With the political turmoil put to rest, our minds turn to a single question. The next divine. We cannot answer it without the left and right hands of Divine Justinia V.
I have already told you, revered mother. Lady Leliana and Seeker Cassandra cannot be spared from their duties.
But surely with the support of the Empire, the Inquisition will not be harmed by the loss of just 2 souls.
Dude.
Why do you need Liliana and Cassandra?
They were Her Holiness's most trusted advisors. They represent her legacy, her hopes for peace in Phaedas. They could rally the Grand Clerics to follow as no candidate from the clergy has been able to.
You must think very well of them to suggest such a thing.
Lady Liliana and Seeker Cassandra were Justinia's most trusted friends and advisors. Our late divine is still held in high esteem. To honor her, the Grand Clerics might support one of them as successor.
How long does the Chantry need them?
Several months, at least. If one of them is crowned divine, she would not be returning to the Inquisition.
Liliana and Cassandra would have to make that decision for themselves.
And they certainly will, at a later date. The Inquisitor has only just returned and has important business to attend to. You must excuse us, revered mother. Don't let them detract from your victory at Alam-Shiral. The support of the Empire should make our search for the Grey Wardens easier. Varric is eager to help his friend Hawk.
I know. Alright, we should go and talk to everyone then. Even though this has been the longest part. To the bar. Does Lisette have something to say?
Thank you for Haven. Less so for Redcliffe, but I am committed to serve your worship. From Haven's fire come we, the able.
What's up?
To Skyhold now.
You know I've got no problem with Orlesians, but Alam-Shiral was a mess. At least under the Qun, you don't get everyone tripping on each other's dicks while the country goes to crap.
There were mitigating factors.
Corypheus had agents sowing dissent and muddying the waters.
That's just it. Orlais is so vulnerable. If you killed everyone in the Triumvirate, the Qun would survive unchanged. I don't know. The Qun isn't perfect, but it doesn't care what any single person wants. Orlais is full of people who care about nothing else.
We all did.
Sarah?
One for the Empress. For Gaspard. Brianna, the Duchess, and Crucifix, right in the dangle bag.
Well, remind me to stay on your good side.
Don't worry, you're sparkling compared to that lot. A cook here, a footman there. What's it matter, right, so long as there's a book for the throne? A pretty one, sure. But how many lives are worth one empress's arse? Ugh, that place. Should have just thrown in some bees and slammed the doors.
I don't know. You want to stop a party? I think you go earwigs.
I hate those things, with their little pinchy butts. Josephine should add that to her paper threats. You know the real lesson from all this? Never sleep with an empress. That, and Briala being an idiot, the whole thing would have gone different if that little piss-up wasn't in the middle.
That was a mistake on their part. It made everything worse.
Wrong way around, Inquisitor. It started worse. Lots of people died before there was a hole in the sky. That's who you're saving. If you get a chance, maybe remind them not to be idiots.
I do like Sarah. She's funny. Apparently Cole now hates me, which is really great.
I didn't understand the Grand Ball. It would have been easier if they said what they wanted.
That would have made everything much simpler.
The colors were pretty, though.
Well,
I'll talk to you later.
got some approval back
How
anyway.
do you know?
Bam. Fuck the stairs, am I right? Cassandra.
Will you not consider it, Lady Cassandra? The clerics are still sequestered. If no one steps forward, they will debate until...
And you think I could make them agree? I've heard enough for one day, Mother Giselle.
Talk to her, your worship.
What do you want me to say?
The fun never ends in Skyhold, does it?
The Inquisitor was hilarious. That's what they'll say one day, you watch. I assume you've heard that Leliana and I are both candidates to be the next Divine. Because of what happened at Halam Shiral, of course, the Empire favors you. Thus everyone close to you. So now the Chantry bandies our names about without even asking us first.
How can you and Leliana be candidates? You're not even priests.
It's not without precedent. Amar III was sister to the Emperor, and Galatea a commoner. Leliana and I were, at least, part of the Chantry hierarchy. It would be accepted.
Why am I not a candidate?
If they'll pick non-priests, why am I not a candidate?
Because you're a mage, first and foremost.
Oh yeah, there's that,
If
isn't
they
there?
name you a candidate, they may as well join the Tevinter Imperium. Truly, though, I imagine it's because they're frightened of you. A weight such as yours would break the Sunburst throne and tear the Chantry to pieces. I just don't know why they believe Leliana or I would be any better.
Hmm.
If you don't want it, then tell them so.
Surely it was never meant to be like this. The Chantry, the Circle of Magi, the Templars, this cannot be what they intended when it all began. The Chantry should provide faith, hope. Instead, it cannot veer from its course, even in the face of certain death.
I'm surprised to hear you of all people say that.
Oh? Am I not the same woman who declared the Inquisition against the Chantry's wishes? In all my years as a Seeker, I did what I was told. My faith demanded it. But now my faith demands something else. That I see with better eyes.
If you're concerned, then make it better.
Did you know Varric is Andrastian? Oh, he blasphemes with every second breath, but deep down he believes. His heart is virtuous. But he would never step foot in a Chantry. It should be the first place to which the virtuous turn. It needs to change. Perhaps I must be the one to change it.
You're not the only candidate. What about Leliana?
Leliana says she wishes to follow Justinia's legacy. But she and I remember a different person. Justinia knew her fellow clerics and the people would only accept so much change. Leliana would cast it all aside and start over, I think. And that would be chaos for us all.
What would you change about the Chantry?
The Circle of Magi has its place, but it needs reform. Let the mages govern themselves with our help.
Isn't that what
Let
Viv
the
wants?
Templars stand not as the jailers of mages, but as protectors of the innocent. We must be vigilant, but we must also be compassionate to all peoples of Thedas, human or no. That is what I would change.
So this is your new crusade?
I've agreed to nothing yet.
And if the Chantry calls on you?
Then I will do whatever I can, for as long as I can. I suppose I should not be so concerned. The clerics speak my name for now, nothing more. For now, restoring order and stopping Corypheus remain our priority.
What's in the blacksmith?
Is that all for today?
Not by a long shot. Nothing? Unfortunate. Oh, Bells, it's you. Morris. Sir Morris, I suppose. I am serving as quartermaster for Skyhold and its arriving throngs. Stores are growing, and so long as we have fair coin to restock, you and yours will be well served.
There are problems coming out of Halam Shiral.
There are always problems from Halam Shiral. We've lost a few contracts, but more than made up for it. Although, if a few commendations were given, it might retie some severed threads. I couldn't suggest how. That is better decided at your war table, and I'm not going near that thing.
As you were.
We are here for you, Inquisitor.
Right. To the hall.
Now this is a hall worthy of the Inquisition.
Is it? I didn't see.
How bracing to be in the thick of the game again. The last time I was at Alam Shiral was Countess Letienne's wedding. There were a dozen affairs, 5 secret alliances, and a duel between 2 chevaliers over the vintage of an Antivan port. But until the Duchess was unmasked, I've never seen the Winter Palace in shock.
No one can say the evening wasn't memorable.
They've already begun composing songs about it in Val Royal, no doubt. The game's become increasingly insular in the past few years. Corypheus skillfully took advantage. It's disturbing so few people in the Orlesian court were aware of the Duchess's machinations.
You'd think the game's greatest players would spot a murderer in their midst.
As I said, insularity. Familiar rivals become the only ones worth sparring with. But let's not lose sight of victory. Your actions at the ball have secured us allies and favors alike.
Insular cliques, snide half-truths, everyone sizing up everyone else. It reminded me of home.
I completely understand the feeling, Inquisitor. Let's hope the next ball either of our families holds is quieter than this one, shall we?
I should hope so. Am I supposed to judge someone? Well, I won't do that right now. I'll do that at the beginning of the next part. Hey Varric, what's up?
I need to have a few words with my publisher. The first one will be you, and the second one will be bastard. They've claimed for years my crime serials don't sell in Orlais. So why is the Council of Heralds asking me for autographs? Sorry, distracted. Anyway, you need something?
Carry on.
Anything to say, Solus?
There are spirits hovering by the veil to observe the thrones of powerful nations, the machinations, betrayals. After our time in Halam Shiral, I understand why. I had forgotten how I missed court intrigue.
You've forgotten how you missed court intrigue?
You missed court intrigue? When were you at court?
Oh, well, never directly, of course.
Uh-huh.
An elven apostate is rarely invited to speak with empresses and kings. But from the Fade, I have watched dynasties form and empires crumble. It is sometimes savage, sometimes noble, and always fascinating. In any event, Celine should now be a steadfast ally, especially after helping her neutralize Briala.
I hope you know that I didn't turn over Briala lightly. If I'd had another option...
What? Why would I disapprove of... Oh, because we're both elves. I'm sorry, I was confused. I do not consider myself to have much in common with the elves.
Who do you have much in common with? Who are your people?
A good question. I joined the Inquisition to save the world. Regardless of who my people are, this was the best way to help them. As for the elves of Orlais, I believe Briala is doing quite well on their behalf. She is an admirable woman.
So you don't have anything in common with elves, but you admire her for fighting for them.
I admire many people whose interests I do not share. She organized resistance against a powerful enemy, using only her wits and the resources at hand. That demands respect, especially in a world where most would look at her and only see a pair of pointed ears.
You seem... I think he slipped up in that conversation because he seemed awfully certain that he'd been at court before I called him on it. So is something up with him? I don't know. Hello.
Marvelous business, the Winter Palace. You saved an empress, and now she's eating out of your hand. Perfect mental image.
Oof.
All this dancing, politics, and murder makes me a bit homesick.
That's something you actually miss.
Who wouldn't? All the drama, the scandal, the petty maneuverings. Back home, we engage in social affairs with the grim intensity of war. When blood is spilled, the battle is won. Less fun when you're the target, but to watch. My, yes. I hope you tried the ham they were serving, by the way. Tasted of despair. It's fascinating.
Of despair?
I should go.
You know where I'll be.
How can something taste of despair? Where's Liliana? There.
So it's true. Some look to Cassandra or even me as Justinia's successor. I never thought the idea would gain momentum. Of course, with the other candidates out of the picture...
Is becoming divine something you really want?
When Justinia was alive, I would have laughed at anyone who even suggested that I could be her successor. Things have changed. Still, I don't know. Restoring the Chantry will be like trying to steer a sinking vessel through a storm.
Whoever becomes divine will have my support if she requires it.
And I'm sure whoever becomes divine will absolutely require the Inquisition's backing. The Chantry is faltering, but it still has influence over the people. Who tells the people what's right? Who do they look to in times of peril? A divine with enough support can change the Chantry. And with it, Thedas. But this is a discussion for later. If Corypheus wins, finding a new divine will be the least of our problems.
Is Morrigan around? I'll go see if Vivienne has anything to say as well. I keep forgetting about her. And then I will go find Cully. Where are the stairs? We'll just take the quick way down. There we go.
Far be it for me to suggest a training adjustment.
My dear, I'm afraid I must ask you for help. There is an alchemical formula that I must complete, but I have been unable to obtain a critical ingredient. The heart of a snowy wyvern. I had arranged to obtain one, but the chevaliers working with me were killed in the Civil War.
If I'm going to hunt down a snowy wyvern, I need you to tell me everything you know about it.
They're quite rare and exceedingly dangerous. Their venom is the most potent of any wyvern. Ordinary hunters would not make the attempt. The risk is too great. You, my dear, would certainly be an equal to this monster.
I mean, I've killed plenty of wyverns so far.
I didn't know you were an alchemist, Vivienne. What exactly is this project you're working on?
It is a special request from a member of the Council of Heralds. I am still the Imperial Court enchanter, after all. The matter is private. That is all there is to say.
You want me to risk my life to get this thing for you, but you won't tell me what it's for.
My dear, it is hardly proper for me to blab the secrets of those who put trust in my discretion. I would do no less for you, after all.
I'm not a hunter. Why do you think I can help?
This beast is not hunted for sport, as other wyverns sometimes are. It is far more deadly. In the past, chevaliers have been dispatched to either kill the creatures or drive them away from villages. Since my chevaliers have fallen to political conflict, I find myself in need of someone with a martial aptitude.
I'll do what I can.
Thank you, my dear. I would be most grateful. I shall give the location of its lair to Cullen. Remember, my dear, I must have its heart, or the potion will not work. I eagerly await your success.
Knight Enchanter. You are a quick study, Knight Enchanter.
Woo! Where's...
Inquisitor, if you're looking for the commander, he's gone to speak with Seeker Pentecost.
Oh no. Is this about... Oh no. If this is about what I think it is. Because he said that he would defer to Cassandra if he ever had a problem with his lyrium addiction.
To know the sanctity of our great institutions is
Good book.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, because I suddenly went blind.
Oh, that. Just reports from Commander Cullen.
You're an excellent liar.
It's of no interest to you, I'm certain. It's a book.
I can see that.
It's one of Varric's tales. Swords and Shields. The latest chapter.
So you like to read? What's wrong with that?
It's frivolous. There are more important things for me to do.
That's just her favorite.
Nobody asked you to winter.
I couldn't finish the last one you lent me. I actually feel dumber for having tried.
It's literature. Smutty literature. Whatever you do, don't tell Varric.
Oh my gosh, she's into that.
Me? No, I would never.
They're terrible. And magnificent. And this one ends in a cliffhanger. I know Varric is working on the next. He must be. Pretend you don't know this about me.
Okay, but where's Cullen? Tell me where is Cullen?
It's good to see you.
What?
That's enough for now.
Another time, then.
Oh, I need to go into the...
You asked for my opinion, and I've given it. Why would you expect it to change?
I expect you to keep your word. It's relentless. I can't...
You give yourself too little credit.
If I'm unable to fulfill what vows I kept, then nothing good has come of this. Would you rather save face than admit...
Cullen.
Forgive me.
And people say I'm stubborn. This is ridiculous. Cullen told you that he's no longer taking lyrium.
Fuck, that's what's this... yeah.
Yes, he trusted your judgment on the matter.
He was not interested in my judgment today. Cullen has asked that I recommend a replacement for him. I refused. It's not necessary. Besides, it would destroy him. He's come so far.
Why didn't he come to me?
We had an agreement long before you joined us. As a Seeker, I could evaluate the dangers. And he wouldn't want to risk your disappointment.
Cullen.
Is there anything we can do to change his mind?
If anyone could, it's you. Mages have made their suffering known, but Templars never have. They are bound to the Order, mind and soul, with someone always holding their lyrium leash. Cullen has a chance to break that leash, to prove to himself, and anyone who would follow suit, that it's possible. He can do this. I knew that when we met in Kirkwall. Talk to him. Decide if now is the time.
Cullen. I need to go find him right now. I'm coming. I'm on my way.
Maker's breath. I didn't hear you enter. Forgive me.
Cullen, if you need to talk.
You don't have to.
Cullen.
I never meant for this to interfere.
Are you going to be all right?
Yes. I don't know. You asked what happened to Ferelden's Circle. It was taken over by abominations. The Templars, my friends, were slaughtered. I was tortured. They tried to break my mind, and I... How can you be the same person after that? Still, I wanted to serve. They sent me to Kirkwall. I trusted my Knight Commander, and for what? Her fear of mages ended in madness. Kirkwall Circle fell. Innocent people died in the streets. Can't you see why I want nothing to do with that life?
Of course I can.
Don't. You should be questioning what I've done. I thought this would be better. That I would regain some control over my life, but these thoughts won't leave me. How many lives depend on our success? I swore myself to this cause. I will not give less to the Inquisition than I did to Chantry. I should be taking it. I should be taking it.
You can do it, Cullen. You can.
This doesn't have to be about the Inquisition. Is this what you want?
No. But these memories have always haunted me. If they become worse, if I cannot endure this...
You can.
All right.
Jesus. That is so heartbreaking. But he can get through it. I know he can.
I need a moment. Could we speak another time?
Fairbanks, what are you doing?
Just handed some intelligence to the spy master.
Alright, this has been an extremely long part, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this here. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!